guys, today we're going to talk about online communication and texting with women. And if you're a woman watching this, there are some tidbits and just a tip for you as well. Five tips for texting and or online communication with women. And these probably apply actually for women with men as well. So the first one is, if you were confident, would you say this to the person in person? So that kind of helps you gauge whether or not it's actually appropriate. Like, you're not going to walk up to a girl and say, hey, nice sweater stretchers, right? Like, so you want to keep it appropriate, even though you do want to build some sexual tension if you're going to communicate with this person because you're interested in building attraction, of course. Now, if it's not someone you should be building attraction with, don't go there. Like, I love compliments, but sexual innuendos, totally inappropriate. I'm a professional. Okay, so as far as women go with that, if a guy does use a sexual innuendo or some kind of sexual tension building text or communication, then it's up to you to decide if you want to carry on that plane or if you want to shut her down. So what can happen is that a guy will send out a message that has a bit of a sexual innuendo, and he's kind of floating a balloon to see where it'll go and to see what you're gonna say. And so you can say ha ha ha. Note, guys, if a girl just says ha 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 and doesn't continue or give it back to you in another sexual way, then shut it down. The only time you should continue past one sexual innuendo is if she's actually encouraging it or reciprocating. Otherwise, drop it like a something. Just drop. The third tip for communicating and texting online, especially for guys, is never open a conversation with hey, hi, how are you, what's up? Okay, that's great later on if she's super interested, but initially it's really, really boring and it shows you have zero creativity. And guess what? Women get a ton of those texts every day. The only person I would ever want to get that text from, and even then, I'd be like, dude, come on. Gerard Butler, you know, the star of 300, I would take a hey, how's it going text from him, and I'd probably start on the sexual innuendos right away. But guess what? The reality is, hey, hi, and how are you, what's up, and all that is super boring. Start with something more exciting. Could be something funny. It could be something like totally random. It's awesome because it's unexpected and it makes you different. So for example, I'll give you an example. So the way I started a relationship or an exchange that ended up in a relationship with actually my last boyfriend was as a first message to him, and he'd never messaged me. We had had a little bit of online exchange, but more professional. Anyways, I texted him and said, stop following me. Like, what are you doing stalking me? And with a wink. Wink always makes it playful. Anyways, so it was fun and he laughed because it was obviously untrue. He wasn't stalking me. We were actually in different countries, in fact. And so he thought that was funny and then we started engaging. So start with something funny if you can or something random. And then number 4, no dick pics. Put your Johnson away. Don't send a dick pic unless and until the girl explicitly asks for one. And ladies, you shouldn't really ask for one unless you're only looking for a booty call and you don't want it to go anywhere. I mean, it sort of applies more to the younger generation who are a lot more sexually liberated with sex. But at the same time, that if you go straight into the sex category, that's where you're going to stay for the most part. So save the dick pics and the tit pics for when you've actually seen each other's goods. Like, then it's appropriate. The other thing too, remember, is if you send a dick pic before she asks for one, it's going to seem like you're only interested in sex, and it's actually a big turnoff. We know you like your unit, but we don't want to see it yet. Like, we don't want to see it until we've seen it in real life. And if we're looking for a relationship, that's a major turnoff. And then for women, The reason why you don't want to send out like just shots of your body is because if you do that right away with a guy, then he's going to think you're doing it with just every guy, and that doesn't make him feel special. And how do we build like intimate bonding? Is by feeling special with that one person. Number 5, your and your, Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U''re. The second one means you are. So if you're going to send a message saying you're amazing, spell it properly. One of the biggest complaints, and statistically it's huge, women get turned off if they know the difference themselves between your and your. And actually, it's probably less so for guys, so it's really, this is one that's kind of more important for guys. But statistically, women get turned off if you don't know the difference between those two, and because they assume that you're not that bright. And really, like, who wants, like, nobody's attracted to that. So just learn the difference. And the statistics actually show that even if a woman was interested in you in person and you didn't know how to spell, because you're not spelling when you're talking to someone when you're in person, they'll be interested in you in person. And then later, if they discover you can't spell, no big deal. But if it starts out that way, then it's really hard to recover. So learn the difference between your and your. Super easy to do. Don't get offended, just learn. And I'll see you in the next video.